Oh yeah! Sport mode is love, baby! Love! When you hear the words German sedan, most people think expensive. Definitely over a million Philippine pesos. Well, it turns out you can get a brand new German sedan for less than a million in the form of this cute little Volkswagen Santana. Will it deliver the same delightful performance as its bigger siblings? It's time for us to find out. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another car review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. If you're my subscriber already, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. After, you click that like button. Also, special thanks to Volkswagen Philippines for lending us the Santana to do this review. The Volkswagen Santana has flown under the radar ever since it launched in the Philippines last 2018. Now, it's a shame really because this is a well-built and highly capable subcompact sedan. True, it won't win any style contests, but what it lacks in flair, it more than makes up for it when it comes to the build quality and performance. Now what we have here is the top-spec Volkswagen Santana 180 MPI SE, and it retails for 962,000 Philippine pesos. The thing is, AC Motors, who distribute Volkswagen in the country, has been pretty aggressive with their discounts lately, so it's best for you to talk to your nearest Volkswagen dealer. As I mentioned, the Santana won't win any style contest because it follows that corporate Volkswagen design theme. In other words, boring. Okay, that's a bit harsh. Let's go with sleeper look. Now, this Santana has the same chrome horizontal slats here on the front grille as well as that Volkswagen logo. This top-spec Santana, however, gets halogen headlights with a follow me home function. That's a nifty feature. It also has halogen turn signals and halogen fog lights. It's pretty unremarkable really, which would suit people who prefer to blend in rather than stand out. Now the side profile of the Santana is a typical 3-box sedan. Hood, body, trunk, plus some body lines thrown in to add some character. Now the side mirrors of this top-spec Santana SE gets LED turn signals, but it doesn't power fold. However, when it comes to the doors, well, the doors of the Santana open and close with authority. See? Nice, solid thud, as what you'd expect from a German brand. Now when it comes to the wheels, the Santana SE gets 15-inch alloy wheels here that are wrapped in 185/60 R15 tires. Behind those wheels, it gets budget meal mechanicals, it gets ventilated disc brakes up front, drums at the back, and for the suspension, we have a MacPherson setup in the front and a torsion beam at the back. The rear end of the Santana is a typical Volkswagen rear end, which means it has a boxy shape and standard taillights here. We do get a rear fog light right there, but we don't get a trunk lid opener mounted here on the trunk lid. Instead, to open the trunk, you'll have to use your key fob. There you go. And once you have this thing open, you can forgive the fact that it doesn't have a trunk lid opener on the trunk lid because this cargo space is cavernous. Now, I don't have the actual hard numbers for this cargo capacity, but I do have my medium-sized luggage. As you can see, my medium-sized luggage can easily fit here, and you can put 3 to 4 of them right there in the trunk of this Santana. The thing is, the back seats don't fold down though, so if you're transporting longer items, you might have to get creative. The Santana SE gets a larger 1.5-liter inline-4 gasoline engine that puts out 109 horsepower and 145 Newton-meters of torque. Now, to put things in proper perspective, this Santana is more powerful than the Toyota Vios and even the all-new Nissan Almera. Now, the Honda City RS has a bit more horsepower than this, but the Santana has a higher maximum torque level. And let's not even talk about the Mitsubishi Mirage power, okay? Now, the thing is, all of these Japanese subcompact sedans, well, they're all equipped with a CVT, whereas the Volkswagen Santana comes with a 6-speed automatic transmission that drives the front wheels. Now, putting that in that kind of perspective, well, it seems that the Santana is the segment leader when it comes to power amongst the subcompact sedans. Now, the thing is, all that power also translates to, well, below average fuel economy. On a heavy city drive, well, the Santana can only give me 7.5 kilometers per liter. It goes up to 9 when the things clear up, but when I took it out on the highway, the best it can do was 20 kilometers per liter, and mind you, I was already doing a bit of hypermiling there. Now, granted that the highway figure is no slouch, but it's still behind the fuel economy figures of its other subcompact sedan competitors. Well, it is the most powerful, but not really the most fuel efficient, so you can't really have them all. The Santana's cabin is simple, no frills, but it also has a few quirks that is pretty unique to Volkswagen. The seats are a combination of fabric and faux leather, which means that this would be great to use on a warm day because it will keep your backs cool. Now, the steering wheel is made of urethane here, but the wheel itself is kind of thin and reminds me of the classic Volkswagen Beetles. We do have a flat bottom here, plus some hands-free buttons for connectivity, but the wheel only adjusts for tilt, and it doesn't telescope. Now, this top-spec Santana SE also gets a cruise control stalk right there, which is a feature that you don't normally see in the subcompact sedan class. Now, when you go over to your instrument gauge cluster here, this is a typical analog gauge cluster, but the Santana SE has a red multi-information display in the middle that shows you one vital vehicle information that the other subcompact sedans don't give you. We have an engine temperature gauge here, which will give me added peace of mind whenever I'm driving this thing. Now, when you move over to your infotainment system here, this is a touchscreen system. I think this is around 8 inches, but it only comes with Baidu Car Life, which we cannot use here in the Philippines. Now, the good thing there, though, is Volkswagen Philippines will give you an option for a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system that comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, the infotainment system does not come with a reverse camera, but the Santana does have reverse parking sensors, so that would aid you when it comes to parking duties. Now, when you go down from there, we have a fully manual climate control system here, and when you go down to the shifter, well, you have a regular shifter here, but it does have a little quirk. You see, when you're driving this thing and you go on a full stop, so you shift from drive to neutral, in order to go back to drive, you'll have to step on the brake pedal first to release the drive lock mechanism. Now, I know that that's a safety feature that Volkswagen built into the Santana to prevent any sudden accelerations or whatnot. Yeah, but I kind of find it a little bit weird. Now, speaking of safety features, the Santana is also equipped with the following standard safety bits that you can see on your screen right now. Now, another quirk associated to that shifter, well, is the fact that the Santana comes with a regular key. This is a regular key, guys, as you can see. There, it's a regular key. And once you key in the ignition, in order to start this thing, you'll have to step on the brake pedal. And that's the only time that this Volkswagen Santana will start. Kind of weird for me because I normally would step on the brake pedal if it's an engine push start button, but it's the same format or process here in the Volkswagen Santana with its actual physical key. Now, from there, guys, you go down to the shifter, and beside that, you'll have a button here that turns off your idle start-stop system. The Santana is equipped with that, and I would recommend that you turn it off because, well, when this when the idling stops, the compressor of the aircon also stops, so it might get a little bit warm inside the cabin. Now, from there, we also have a manual handbrake here, plus another feature that the other subcompact sedans in the category will not give you. The Volkswagen Santana comes with an adjustable center armrest right here, and it's also a padded center armrest. Now, the center armrest even has a tiny cubby there for some knickknacks. So yeah, it's good that the Volkswagen Santana has this thing. There you go, see? Right there. Now, if you notice, I didn't do my clean canteen test, guys, because, well, we have a couple of cup holders here that are recessed into the center cubby right there. So yeah, my clean canteen wouldn't fit. You'll have to put a tiny espresso cup or a coffee cup here in order to fit. So yeah, it fails my clean canteen test. Luckily, we have bottle holders on the door cards, so yeah, you could put the clean canteen there. Now, another feature of the Santana here is we actually have a sunroof up top, which completes all the amenities of this Volkswagen Santana SE. Now when you look at the cabin materials they use here, it's all hard plastics, guys. It's all pretty much hard plastics here all around. But the hard plastics has that certain German sedan quality to them, if that's even a thing. Plus, I love the fact that we get this gray accent on the middle dashboard, and it also has this chrome strip on the middle dashboard that goes all the way into your AC vents. I find that it looks quite classy, and it looks really nice. It looks quite German. Now the good thing here, guys, is, well, despite the hard plastics, the fit and finish is pretty tight, as what you'd expect from a German sedan. The back seat of the Santana is pretty spacious for a subcompact sedan. I'm 5'6", guys, and this is my driving position, and I got a good 6.5 inches of knee room here and around 4 inches of headroom. Now, while this is spacious, it would be good to limit the passengers here at the back to just 2 people, because we got a pretty tall center tunnel there in the middle, which would impinge on the footroom of the third person between the 2 dudes. Now, for amenities though, we don't really get much. Well, we do have a dome light here, something that's pretty rare in the subcompact sedan category. Other than that, guys, we don't get anything else. We don't have rear AC vents, no charge ports, not even a center armrest with cup holders. Well, anyway, enough of the back seat. Let's go for a drive. Alright guys, so we're now driving the Volkswagen Santana. And first up, visibility. Well, I love the fact that despite being a budget subcompact sedan, the visibility of the Santana is not compromised at all. We've got a good large windshield in front of us, as well as large windows on the side. Now that's one of the advantages of having, well, a boring sedan design. You can afford to have like large windshields and large windows. We don't get any blind spots here, and I love the fact also that the sitting position of the Santana is pretty high up. So yeah, it's pretty tall for a subcompact sedan. So yeah, this is going to be pretty easy to drive. Now when it comes to the steering feel, well, despite being a budget subcompact sedan, well, the Santana has some pretty decent levels of steering response. You see, that's one of the things that I love about the offerings from Volkswagen. They really know how to tune their steering quite well. This Santana has a good, sharp steering response there. See, it easily responds to my steering inputs, and the geometry is also pretty good. So yeah, the steering response of this thing, it's one of the best in the business. Now when it comes to the cabin comfort and NVH of this thing, well, you would expect that since it's below 1 million Philippine pesos, that it would sacrifice a bit when it comes to cabin comfort and NVH. However, you would be mistaken because, well, this is still a German brand, and the Germans pride themselves for having some pretty stellar NVH levels. Now this Volkswagen Santana is no different. I got a really quiet cabin here, guys. I took the Santana out on the highway run, and I didn't detect any tire noise, and even the wind noise was also minimized. Now that's pretty crazy considering that this is still a budget subcompact sedan. Now the good thing there is, as you can see, we're going through an uneven road here. It's not perfectly paved, and I'm not hearing any noises coming from underneath the car. So that's a testament to the build quality of this Volkswagen Santana, because guys, this is a media demo unit and it already has over 16,000 kilometers on the mileage, and yet it still feels super solid. Now in connection to that, yes, I could really feel that that German engineering that went into this thing. You see, the potholes that I go through, it all gets absorbed really well. It's something that I'd expect from, let's say, a vehicle that's over 2 million Philippine pesos, but we're already getting that here in this Volkswagen Santana. Now, kudos to Volkswagen for engineering this thing like a tank, guys, despite being a budget offering. Now, you'd probably think that since this thing feels so heavy and hefty that it would handle like a boat. But again, you'd be mistaken. I've taken this Santana through fast corners, and it can handle those fast corners with confidence. Plus, it doesn't have as much body roll as some of its competition. Alright guys, now let's take it to the main event of this driving impression, which is the acceleration response. You see, the Volkswagen Santana has two drive modes. You've got a drive and a sport mode. If you're just in drive mode like what we are in now, well, the response is pretty sluggish. It would put more priority on fuel economy when you're just driving around in normal mode. However, put it in sport mode and you can already see that this is the cousin of a Lamborghini and a Bugatti. The Santana drives like a bat out of hell when you put it in sport mode. Woo! Yeah! See, it's that awesome, and I just have a really slow taxi in front of me. That's why I cannot just ring this thing out. But man, let's go! Oh yeah! Woo! Yeah, in sport mode, it holds the revs all the way up to the red line and it downshifts with gusto. It drives like a freaking angry bat out of hell. Yeah, whoa! Yeah, and I could really tell that this is really, a performance car. It comes from a brand that knows how to make performance cars. Yes. Volkswagen really knows how to tune their sport modes. And yeah, most other subcompact crossovers in the budget category, well, it will take them a while to get up to triple-digit speeds. But not the Santana, man. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Woo! Fantastic, guys. Yeah, this thing can easily go up to triple-digit speeds. And it really tells you, woo! Oh, yeah! Yep. You don't mess with the segment leader of the budget subcompact sedan segment. Oh, yeah. This is a lot of fun, guys. This is as much fun as I had when I drove the Volkswagen Lavida. It is that crazy good. Oh yeah. Whoa! Now overall guys, well, it's quite obvious that this Volkswagen Santana is the younger brother of the Volkswagen Lavida. It delivers a stellar level of driving performance that you would not expect from a budget subcompact sedan. If you love to drive, guys, if driving performance matters a lot to you, well, don't miss out on the Volkswagen Santana, guys. This will give the more established Japanese brands a huge run for their money. Oh yeah, fantastic. The Volkswagen Santana may look plain, but it has the performance and the space that you would not expect from a subcompact sedan. It also has an attractive price considering that the other top-spec variants from newer Japanese subcompact sedans have already breached that ₱1,000,000 price level. It's a car that won't wow you at first, but the moment you get to drive it, that's when you'll realize that it's one of the most engaging drives this side of ₱1,000,000 Philippine pesos. Just put it in sport mode and let it rip. Thanks for watching.